What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 133 of Cocktails in the War Room. My name is Mistress Carrie, and this is the 133rd time that we have gotten together here in the War Room since all the craziness happened back on March 14th of 2020. Now, if you are new to the War Room, if you just started listening to me on the radio, maybe you stumbled on the Mistress Carrie podcast because I've been guesting on some other podcasts recently, welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. And please let us know in the comments if you're joining us for the first time, because we want to be able to welcome you properly. I'll also tip you off that if you go to my blog at mistresscarrie.com, there is a blog post called Dictionary, which has all of the inside jokes of Cocktails in the War Room kind of all written out for you so that we don't lose you with some of our shorthand and some of our slang that we've developed over the last 133 episodes. I know, Jeff, it's crazy. It's 133 episodes. What's going on, Mark? Hey, Donna. Hey, Jen, Keith, Marianne, Trina, Karen, Christine. Thank you guys for hanging out with me each and every Tuesday night. I first want to thank our sponsor, Latini Creative Solutions at latinicreative.com. If you need to rebrand your company, need new artwork, logos, any kind of graphic design stuff done, they have been immeasurably helpful when it came to launching the podcast, launching the website, Cocktails in the War Room, designing merch. They've just been super helpful with everything. So you can find them at latinicreative.com. Let's see. Welcome to the new family, to the new members. Cheers, says Donna. Blueberry Cobbler, says Mark. Gummy Dicks for the newbies. Ralph says, hey, Carrie, awesome. You got the ATL t-shirt. I did. Thank you so much. Hello, Elsa. What's going on? Anthony. Hello, Kevin, Paula, Michelle, Joseph, Chris, Rodney. Thank you guys for hanging out with me here in the War Room. I have a lot to talk to you guys about. It's been very busy. So if you listen to my radio show, there were a couple days that I wasn't on the radio. The people that have the Mistress Carrie backstage passes on Patreon know a little bit more about what's been going on. But as you guys all are very aware, the end of August last year, I got married. And then in September, my husband, who's active duty military, deployed. And I've only had a chance to see him one other time since he left. And that was back in February. Well, he is home on leave. He's actually in the house right now. And he is my official bartender tonight. He made me a fantastic drink, and it seems really strong. So I apologize if things go off the rails here in the War Room tonight. I did not make my cocktail tonight. So Elsa, thank you very much for asking. Had a few days, got to travel, and got to spend some time as a family, which has been amazing. Not getting a chance to do that kind of stuff, the normal everyday family stuff. Obviously, COVID made it difficult for everybody, but having family scattered and somebody deployed, it kind of makes it hard to even do the little things that you take for granted. So I was able to be on the radio while I was gone through the magic of technology. However, the days I had to fly, it's incredibly difficult to try to do the radio show just because you can't trust the airlines, you know, that you're going to get there on time, the traffic around the airports, how long TSA is going to take. Like it just... So those were the days that I had off. And I loved all the text messages and all the messages I was getting from people that were like, must be nice. You get these new radio gigs and then you automatically get time off. I knew that I was going to need to travel around these times. So when I actually accepted my job at the Pike and also with Westwood One, that was part of the deal. And I was like, look, I already bought these plane tickets. I need to be able to travel. And all of my bosses were amazingly accommodating. So I want to make sure that I thank everybody at Westwood One and everybody at Cumulus and at the Pike in Worcester for giving me the opportunity to travel. I brought a few pictures that I wanted to be able to show you guys. Obviously, you can appreciate family photos, not really the kind of thing I want to go showing off in the War Room, but I did have some pictures that I wanted to show you. So they don't have candlepin bowling down in North Carolina, which for anybody that is hanging out with us in the War Room that's not from New England, you may not even know what candlepin bowling is. Candlepin bowling is something in the Northeast that we all take for granted as being regular bowling. The bowling you're seeing in this picture right here, I grew up calling big ball bowling because, well, that's what we called it. You actually had to hunt down a bowling alley that had this kind of bowling. Candlepin bowling has a ball that's almost the size of a bocce ball, kind of, and the pins are really skinny. And it's a much faster bowling game. The pins are skinnier, the ball is smaller, but we grow up bowling in New England. And when you say you're going bowling, that's what is assumed, that you're going candlepin bowling. There are candlepin bowling leagues on television. So I went big ball bowling. We went go-karting, which was a blast. That bottom picture of me in the mask is me on the plane. And the picture of me underneath the moon, it is just this amazing park. You guys know, because I've talked about it in the past, my stepkids like to play Pokemon Go. And so I've gotten sucked into Pokemon Go, and we were Pokemoning together, and we were in this amazing park with this beautiful view. And my stepson said, wow, that would make a really cool picture. So we all took the picture because it's completely, the proportions are all weird. Those are big, giant trees, but the way that the hill was sloped, you either look giant or the trees look really small. So I thought they were really cool, and I wanted to show you guys some of the pictures of my trip. What's going on, Tammy? Hey, Ann. What's up, Zaino? Joining us in the war room. Hey, Joe. So one thing I did want to share with you is that when it comes to my family, we tend to make everything a competition, and there needs to be some kind of reward. And so the reward for the bowling, because I've taken the family candlepin bowling and I schooled them all, but I had an unfair advantage because I grew up candlepin bowling. So we decided when we went big ball bowling that we were going to have a trophy, a reward. Now, what's cool about this bowling alley is that they sell used bowling pins for $5, that you can just buy a bowling pin. And a lot of my friends that go shooting, they use bowling pins for target practice. So we ended up getting a bowling pin at the bowling alley, and that was going to be the winner's trophy. And we decided as a family that this bowling pin would kind of be like the Stanley Cup, that every time we bowl as a family, the winner got possession of the bowling pin. And so my husband is rolling his eyes at me because he's behind the camera right now here in the war room, because I wanted to be able to show off the trophy and that I won the bowling. And we literally spent the weekend telling every stranger that we passed, whether they be at a hotel, whether they be cashiers or waiters and waitresses at restaurants, that I won the bowling trophy. So here is my bowling trophy that I have possession of until the family can go bowling again. And so that's what that picture is up in the top corner. It's me gloating about what a good bowler I was. So Jim says, remember the bowling alley off of John Fitch Highway? Yes. Did you see that the Muppets are doing the Haunted Mansion? Kenny, I know. It's amazing. There's Brian's Bowl Away Candlepin Bowling on Main Street. The bottom picture looks like you are recruiting an empire. I know, I do kind of look like Kylo Ren, but that was just me with a hoodie with the mask on the plane. So let's see. Thank God you signed it. Yeah, so the winners' names, just like the Stanley Cup, get written down and dated. And that's going to be the process of the bowling pin as we pass it around the family. And because we all don't live in the same places, we decided that even if we bowled and the pin wasn't in our possession when we went bowling, that it would be FedExed. And so the bowling pin is going to be something that is around the family for a long time. Hello, little Miss Wednesday. Do you want to say hi to everybody? Hey, come here. For anybody that's new to the war room, come over here and say hi to everybody. For anybody that's new to the war room, let me turn my camera on, or at least the side-by-side. This is Wednesday, my co-host. You can find her on Instagram at Wednesday the Goth Pug. But during the lockdown here in the war room, she was the only person, the only co-host, the only sidekick that I could have. And so she gets what we call the pug cam. So this is the pug cam, and Wednesday will come in and play with toys. And sometimes I have treats for her, and she hangs out with us here in the war room. So where was the store with the giant shark? Somebody wants to know. So I put a picture up on my Facebook page of some of the other pictures, and it was a beach store. that was near the beach in North Carolina, and it has this giant shark, and you actually, to get into the store, you have to walk into the mouth, and it's really cool. So we took a picture of it. So Wednesday, come over here. So anyway, see, these were some of the pictures from my vacation. The Big Balls Trophy Joe, exactly. Still have a full-size bowling pin in East Providence. I love bowling, period. I'm not going to make any excuses about my love of bowling. I think it's an absolute blast. She's knocking the pillows off. You want to knock this pillow off? That's something else that Wednesday likes to do here in the War Room, is she likes to knock all the pillows off the couch. Hey, look up here. Say hi, everyone. Do you just want to sit there and look cute? Is that what you want to do? Do you just want to look cute? Do you want to just tip your head when I talk to you? How about now? Just want to hang out? Hey, stop going near my dinner. So I literally was scoffing down my dinner getting ready for the show tonight because I hadn't eaten all day, because you know how it is when you take a couple days off, you got to play catch up. And so today was my catch up day in the studio. Hey, get out of there. And so I was eating dinner here in the War Room trying to get ready for the show. And Wednesday wants my dinner dish and she can't have it. That's something that Grammy lets Wednesday do. Here she goes. Seriously. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you being a weird dog? Bring that sheep over here. Bring it over here. Bring it over here. She's got toys over here on the couch, but she doesn't want to bring them over here. So, I had a great weekend. Thank you guys. And it's been really awesome. Hey, don't you eat my pillows. It's been really awesome having my husband here. And unfortunately, it's not going to last very long, but I've got to take what I can get. So it's awesome. Hey, Wednesday, ask your mom for some chicken feet. Okay, so we have a lot of other stuff to talk about. I know, Jeff, the damn pillows. I'm just here for the treats, Mom. Duh. Yeah, I know, Brianna. She totally is. I adopted a new dog a week and a half ago. His name is Sir Angelo Donato DeAngelis Hilton. He is a huge min pin that is the size of a mini greyhound. I still miss Gandolfini Hilton, but Sir Angelo has made me so happy, says Trina. I got to tell you, so many people adopted pets during the lockdown, and it is breaking my heart to hear that some of those people are returning those pets now that the world is opening back up and they're going back to work, and it drives me bananas. Rick says, congratulations on getting the job at the Pike. Thank you very much. It was a little bit of an unexpected surprise. We've talked about it here in the War Room in the past, and obviously everybody with the backstage passes knows, but when I applied for the job at Westwood One, which is the job I applied for because it was a full-time job, Westwood One is owned by Cumulus, and the Pike is owned by a company called Cumulus. So when I got the job at at Westwood One, they were like, "Hey, maybe we could multi-purpose Mistress Carrie now that she works for the company." And so that's kind of what happened. And so I went from being completely self-employed to having a bunch of different bosses, but I am not complaining because it has been awesome. Jonathan says, my daughter feeds her cat human food. Hubby, thanks for parting with Carrie for an hour, says Mohawk. Trust me, I'm pretty sure after spending like 24 hours a day, multiple days in a row together, when two people are used to being about 9,000 miles apart, I'm sure he was looking forward to having like an hour away from me. I had a great weekend. Sister and friends threw me a surprise 50th birthday party. Well, congratulations and happy birthday, Paula. Thomas says, can you adopt me? You don't want me to adopt you. Trust me. The Pike is the new AAF, says Jim. I don't think we'll ever play the heavier music on the Pike that we used to play on WAAF, but it is really nice working with Chuck Perks and with Mike Shue again. And, it's been really awesome getting back in touch with a lot of the listeners that used to listen to me on WAF. Some of them are here in the War Room with us that either don't spend a lot of time on Facebook or just never found out about the War Room. And now they're hearing me on the radio and I'm talking about the War Room and there's new people joining us all the time. So it's pretty awesome. Let's see. I showed you the pictures. So let's recap the podcast, shall we? So this past week was another bonus episode. So if you're new to the Mistress Carrie podcast, you get a full-length episode every Wednesday. And the Mistress Carrie podcast is a rock lifestyle podcast. So we talk to bands, we talk to people that are involved with music. We're having all of the same military and veteran conversations that I used to have. And if I get access to an artist and it's not for long enough to make it a full-length episode, I put it up as a bonus episode. So last week, Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top, who has a new solo album coming out in June called Hardware, I had a chance to talk to him for a while. So that was a bonus episode of the podcast last week. If you have not subscribed to the podcast, you might miss some of the bonus stuff that comes out because you're not getting the podcast automatically. So however you listen to podcasts, just hit subscribe. And then when I upload a full-length episode, like episode 50 was with Jack Underkoffler from Dead Poets Society, you'll obviously get that, and then you'll get everything else that gets uploaded as a podcast episode. I know it's hard to believe that I already hit episode 50. It's crazy. We're coming up on the year anniversary of the podcast. It's nuts. Are you going to be doing the Waterfront Mary's Rock the Dock Nights? Chris, I have no idea. I do have some events that I'm going to tell you guys about tonight, though, because there are starting to be things that are getting scheduled that I want to tell you guys about. Dumb question, but is the Pike only satellite radio? Can't seem to find it. So the Pike is 100.1 FM out of Worcester. So you may have a hard time getting it on your radio if you are far away from Worcester. However, you can go to pikefm.com and you can either download the app or you can just click listen live and you can listen to it right on your computer. But it's not a satellite station. It's a broadcast radio station. But you just might not be able to get it because you might be out of range. But it's 100.1 FM in Worcester, or you can just go to pikefm.com and you should be able to stream it just fine. I know, Travis, it's crazy. Now, Travis is already hundreds of episodes in. I just can't believe I'm at 50 or this week 51 already, plus all of the other stuff. If you count all of the sit reps, you count the bonus episodes, and you count the after action reports, and we have guests here in the war room, I think I'm at like 230 or something. So I've been pretty busy this last year. Hey, Carrie, tuning in, first time in a while, vacation in Fort Lauderdale. Hey, Derek, enjoy your Fort Lauderdale vacation. Cheers to you, dude. Thank you for hanging out with us, even when you're on vacation. Producer Mike says, fully vaccinated and freshly bleached anus. Look out, Applebee's. So I got to tell you guys, went and got dose number 2 last week. Literally had no problems. So I'll give you the advice that I got that was totally helpful if you have not gotten vaccinated yet and you're planning to. The advice that I got was be super hydrated when you go. So drink a bunch of water in the morning before you go, and then just keep pounding the water after you go. From the minute they put the shot in, move your arm. I moved my arm like an idiot, sitting there for 15 minutes being observed. I had no allergic reaction at all, but I literally moved my arm the whole time. Did this while I was driving home, moved it. I wasn't even sore the next day. And then I did take some Tylenol when I got home, just in case. I think I was a little bit warm when I got home, but not even a fever warm, just maybe running a degree or 2 hot. But I had no side effects at all. My arm wasn't sore the next day. I wasn't lethargic. I totally felt fine. And I traveled the day after and I was good to go. So far, so good. All right. So episode 50 was the full-length episode that came out last week. The Billy Gibbons interview is a bonus episode. I introduced you to a guy you may or may not know from a band called Dead Poets Society. His name is Jack Underkoffler. Born in Boston, moved away to, I believe, Virginia, and then moved back to Boston to go to college at Berklee College of Music, where he met the band actually at Berklee. And I'd never met him before, never talked to him before, but he was just a blast. He was drinking margaritas while we were doing the interview. So he was having a good time with it. Got a question. No, I am not the music director or the assistant program director of the Pike. So I am just a member of the air staff. I don't have a management position like I had at WAAF. The chicken dance. Yeah, exactly. I just moved my arm a bunch. I did the Arsenio Hall. Woo, woo, woo. And you move your arm a bunch after you get the shot. I was totally fine. You always run a degree or two hot. Thanks, Mark. Let's see. Why even go then? Why even go where then? Oh, Mike. Bill Moore is amazing, says Travis. Yeah, Bill Moore and everybody at Project New Hope is just unbelievable. Let's see. Signal isn't as strong as AAF. Have to listen on the iHeartRadio app or on the Pike app in New Hampshire. So that's one of the other ways you can listen to the Pike. It's on the iHeartRadio app. And so is the Mistress Carrie podcast on the iHeartRadio app as well. So it was very interesting to hear about how the band got together. A bunch of nerds, Paula says. It really is funny to hear how bands kind of court each other and to hear how bands get together, especially Jack not even wanting to be a member of this band and trying to talk people that he liked out of the band while the people that he liked were trying to talk him into getting in the band. My dad went to Berkeley. That's awesome. Not Berkeley, California, Berkeley College of Music. I just want to make sure because they're spelled different. They're on opposite coasts and they totally study different things. Fully vaccinated, ready to lick everything weird, says Mark. Yes, lick all the weird stuff. Does the Macarena have the same effect? You can massage your arm if the chicken dance is a bit too showy for your taste. You know what, Brianna? I was like, I don't even care. I don't even care. Inject it into my eyeball. Just give me the shot. Let's go to the shows. Now, what it was really interesting to me, and it wasn't so much a social experiment because I know how people feel about it. It's not a shock to me with the polarization of the country when it comes to everything. But I was shocked that just putting a selfie up after I got my vaccination, the comments that I got, that I was a lab rat, that I was an idiot for injecting an unknown substance in my body. Like I took a lot of hate on Instagram and on Twitter. And my only response to anyone, because look, it's your body. I'm one of those people that if it's your body, you want to do it. If you're over 18, the other people you're doing it with are consenting, they're alive. Like I really don't care what you do. But I will say this, if you are going to come for anyone for making a decision about getting vaccinated and your argument is you don't even know what's in it, unless you live on a fully organic farm in the middle of the woods in northern Vermont and you raise your own livestock, grow your own crops, you compost your own poop, and you don't bring any products in from the outside, then you can't say that you know exactly what's in your own body. You don't know what they're injecting in the meat that you're eating. You don't know what they're spraying on the vegetables that you're eating. You have no idea the chemicals that are in the sodas or the process for fermenting the drinks we all enjoy here in the War Room every Tuesday night. So the argument about you don't even know what's in it. Like, do you know what's in Advil? You probably take that all the time. Or do you know what is in any of the maintenance drugs that you take? Or you just don't. The answer is you don't. None of us know what's in anything. Never mind breathing the fumes in at the gas station. Never mind what the chemicals that are in the sunblock you put on or the household cleaners that you use with your bare hands and not protecting the semi-permeable membrane of your skin that stuff is seeping through. Like, it just cracks me up. And like I said, if you don't want to get vaccinated, don't then, I guess, if you don't want to, but say it's because you don't want to and not because you don't know what's in it, because you don't know what's in anything. And if you do, then I would like to see your PhD in microbiology and chemistry and all of the other degrees that you need to have a clue. And those are the people that everybody on the internet's like, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like, oh yeah, you're right. I have 4 PhDs in complex chemistry, biology, microbiology, and you're telling me I don't have an idea of what's going on. Okay. Like my beloved Dr. Fauci. Yeah, he doesn't know what's going on. He's only been studying infectious diseases for like 50 years, but idiot. What's up, Kevin? So anyway, I thought it was really funny that just the post. I wasn't even getting political or debating. I just put a post up that was like, shot number 2, bring on the concerts, heavy metal summer, let's do this. And I was getting hate for it. And I was like, okay, bro, if that's the hill you want to die on, you go right on ahead. Nothing wrong with putting weird things into your body. My husband's here. Let's see. Brains, says Thomas. The military has already injected me with God knows what. What's one more thing? Peace of mind, getting back to what I love. Exactly, producer Mike. That's what I said. Wednesday, you going to bring me your favorite? Come here. Bring it over here, and I'll turn your pug cam back on. Come here. Hey. Nope, she doesn't want to. All right, let's talk about this week's podcast episode because it is a special one. I purposefully... Oh, hold on. Now we're going to turn the pug cam back on. Do you got your favorite? Can I have it? Little shit. Hey, bring it over here. Show everybody your favorite toy in the whole wide world. Wednesday. She doesn't want to. All right. So I saved this episode for this week because of Memorial Day weekend, this coming weekend. Episode 51 is an interview with someone I've known for, it's got to be going on a decade now. His name is Andrew Biggio, and he is the author of a new book called The Rifle. That's Andrew. He actually came to MCHQ and recorded the interview in person. That's Andrew and his rifle, and obviously Wednesday right here in the War Room. Andrew Biggio is a Marine veteran. He is also a law enforcement officer, and that actually comes up in this episode of the podcast. His perspective on what's been going on with law enforcement, I thought, was really, really interesting. But Andrew, after returning home from his own deployments, really started looking into his great uncle, who is his namesake, who was killed in action in World War II at the age of 19. And when his family gave him access to his Uncle Andrew or his great Uncle Andrew's letters that he sent home during World War II, one of the things that his Uncle Andrew talked about was training with his M1 Garand rifle and how much he enjoyed it. So Andy sought out a World War II M1 Garand because he wanted to see and touch and feel the gun that his late Uncle Andrew was raving about during his training in World War II. And when he received the gun, he was really excited about it, especially being a Marine veteran. And no one else in his family really thought it was that big of a deal. So he actually knew there was a World War II veteran in his neighborhood. So he went and visited that veteran and brought him the gun. And as soon as he handed the M1 to this World War II veteran, he talks about it in the podcast that the veteran literally was right back as a young man in World War II holding that same rifle. That tactile experience brought back all of these amazing and very strong and profound memories. And he asked that veteran, you know what? I don't ever want to forget this day. Will you please sign my rifle? And he was like, I don't want to sign it. I don't want to sign it. Having that experience with the first World War II veteran, he decided he wanted to start seeking out other veterans to hear their stories and to possibly find people in this search eventually that may have served with his great Uncle Andrew. And so the rifle that you see in that picture has been signed by over 200 World War II veterans, both the Atlantic and the Pacific campaigns. He talks about it a lot in the podcast. He wanted representation. There are women World War II veterans that signed it. There are Navajo code talkers. There are members of the all-black tank unit. There are Japanese soldiers, American soldiers that served even though they were segregated because of what was going on with the internment camps during World War II. He really wanted representation in this journey. And throughout this journey, he started conducting these interviews. Well, the book, The Rifle, is a collection of 22 of these veteran stories in this book. And the book is available. You can order it on Amazon. I believe it's on pre-order right now, and I believe it comes out next week. So you can order it now. It's linked. All of the information about the rifle is linked in this episode of the podcast, which goes live in about 3 hours. But hearing his journey for his own family lineage and history, and having it turn into something that he never intended, which was publishing a book, is really amazing. For any of you guys that are joining me in the War Room that have ever ridden in the Boston Wounded Vet Run, which is a massive motorcycle ride that selects veterans that are in need every year, Andrew Biggio is the guy that started the Boston Wounded Vet Run. It's the same guy, which is how I met him all those years ago, is helping out with the Boston Wounded Vet Run. Travis says, what a legacy of love. It really is. As he has veterans sign the rifle, he like polyurethanes over their signatures so that they can't be rubbed off, because I was really worried about holding it. But he's like, you can't rub them off. We took care of it to make sure. Now, one of the things you're going to hear Andy talk about in this podcast episode, he raised $75,000 and took a group of World War II veterans back for the 75th anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge. His stories about that are unbelievable. That he had guys standing in the very foxholes they dug. He had guys finding for the first time where their brothers in arms were buried overseas. They even, I don't want to give too much away, they even had lunch in Europe with a German soldier who asked if he could come and make peace with American World War II veterans. And that part of the story is pretty amazing. I'm really proud of this podcast. I think you guys are going to love it. I am waiting for my copy of the book as we speak. And so I really, really hope. He is a local guy. He's a local veteran, a local law enforcement officer. He does so much amazing work with the veterans community. The Boston Wounded Vet Run has become a national thing because there are wounded vet runs. I think he said at one point there were 17 active wounded vet runs. I think there's about 13 or 14 now that are all over the country. So this is something that is a nationwide movement. And I am really excited not only to read his book, but I'm really excited for you guys to listen to this podcast episode. And then I'm really excited for you guys to get a copy of the book and let me know what you think. So I wanted to make sure that this episode came out right before the book came out, but I also wanted it to come out the week of Memorial Day weekend, because one of the things that Andrew talks about is the shocking rate at which we're losing these World War II heroes and the effect of the isolation of COVID and what that's had on them. It's a really, really interesting, incredibly personal and very powerful episode of the podcast. I would ask that if you guys have veterans in the family, your battle buddies, your brothers in arms, if you have a World War II hero in your family like I do, pass this episode around. I understand that there's a lot of people that may not like some of the bands that I'm talking to on the Mistress Carrie podcast, but these military episodes, I think, transcend everything. The episode with Jonathan Hill, the episode with Mass Military Support Foundation, the episode with my Uncle Froggy. It's really important to me that the podcast isn't just talking to the bands, but also talking to the people that are living the lives with the soundtrack of the music. We talked a lot about the music of that era. The playlist for this podcast is a little different, but there's some great stuff on there. So I'm really, really excited. Wendy says, I absolutely love when you interview veterans. Well, thank you very much. Let's see, $25 on Amazon, comes out June 1st. There you go, Mark. I knew that it was coming out very soon. I know you can order it right now. There's a hardcover book. I don't know if the paperback is available yet, but all the links to the rifle has all the social media. He actually was saying that there's a lot of kids, like young millennial and younger kids, that follow the rifle on Instagram. And it's because they've grown up hearing stories about these older family members that they may or may not know that fought in World War II, and they're looking for some kind of information. We actually talk about some resources to help regular people try to research their own family's military history and to be able to get access to your own family members' military records. So if you've ever wondered about that, we talk in great detail about that in the podcast as well. Let's see. The military episodes are my favorite. I hope Carrie does even more of them. Thank you, Brianna. I am going to do a lot of them. But you know what? These are the kind of things that come up on the podcast. I mean, go back and listen to the Jacoby Shaddix from Papa Roach episode. We talked a lot about what it was like to grow up the son of a Vietnam veteran with post-traumatic stress and addiction issues. These types of conversations are woven into all of the other conversations we're having too. But I definitely want to be able to do more of these veteran episodes. And I know you guys are just going to love this. Glad you're doing this show. Great way to bring us into Memorial Day with the right mindset. Well, that was one of the things, Travis, that Andy was talking about, is that there are a lot of people that have signed the rifle that aren't alive anymore. And he was really trying to get the book out because he wanted to be able to bring some of these veterans to the book signings, because he wants younger generations to have the opportunity to meet some of these guys before it's too late. And COVID really just screwed up everything. And we're losing them at such a fast rate that he really wants people to hear these stories because, you know, he and I talked about my grandfather that didn't really talk very much. He was in the South Pacific for almost 2 years and then volunteered to go to Korea. And growing up, he didn't talk about anything. And some of the research we've been able to do since his passing, it just makes me so upset that we didn't press him for information when we still had him. But he didn't really want to talk about it either. And so these are the stories that our generation needs to hear, because I think people throw the word Nazi around a lot of times and they don't understand what real Nazis were capable of. And how if you forget where you come from and you forget the wars you've already fought and won, then you're just doomed to repeat it. I mean, it's a famous saying for a reason. One of the other things is having the experience of someone that has seen the horrors of war, so that maybe you could do more to try and avoid war in the first place, because people that have seen it and looked at it in the eyes are forever changed by it. And that's something that Andy and I talk about in this episode of the podcast too, is there is a lot of knowledge to be passed down from these World War II heroes. And if we don't document their stories and read them and listen to them and learn their lessons, we're just doomed to repeat these things all over again. And I don't think any of these guys that Andy interviewed in this book, The Rifle, would want to go and live through the things that they lived through already. He also talked about what our World War II heroes get treated like when they go back to Europe. And Andy describing what it was like for some of these villages to know that there were World War II heroes in their town is kind of crazy. So that's all in this episode of the podcast. I really hope you guys love this episode. I love doing it. I can't wait for the Boston Wounded Vet Run. Can't wait to listen or to get the book. And of course, I can't wait to hear what you guys think of it. So there you go. Episode 51 featuring Andrew Biggio, author of The Rifle, goes live at midnight. Thanks once again to our sponsor, Digital Federal Credit Union. If you go to dcu.org/careers, they are hiring for full and part-time positions in branch locations, not only in Massachusetts, but in New Hampshire as well. Uncle Froggy's doing okay. And I will definitely send him some love. So thank you guys. So yeah, the new episode comes out at midnight. I hope you guys absolutely love it. One of the other things when you hit subscribe on the Mistress Carrie podcast that you get are the sit reps. which you get Monday through Friday. They upload in the middle of the night. So no matter how early you're up to walk the dog or to make coffee or to get into work, whatever it is that you're doing, the sit rep is there. And it's all of your rock news, music headlines, and entertainment updates. But it's all boiled down in less than 5 minutes because you're busy. You don't got a lot of time, but you want to stay up to date on what's going on in music. I make it super easy for you. So that is less than 5 minutes every weekday. So you get 5 sit reps a week. Once again, here are just a sampling of some of the places that you can check out the Mistress Carrie podcast. It's everywhere. So if you have an iPhone or if you use Google or the iHeartRadio app, however it is that you listen to podcasts on Spotify or Pandora, they're all there. The Mistress Carrie podcast is everywhere and you can totally find it. We're still holding strong at 102 countries. And for another week, the Netherlands is the most downloading country besides obviously the United States. So I don't know who's discovering the podcast in the Netherlands, but you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for checking out the podcast. I appreciate it. Let's go through some of the headlines in music. New releases on Friday. There's a new album coming from Of Mice and Men and a new EP coming from Guar. So that's your new music that's coming on Friday. Rammstein rescheduled their stadium tour with a stop at Gillette, and it's rescheduled until next September. Now, I will tell you guys that I have spent a lot of time updating the events calendar on mistresscarrie.com, making sure that the concerts are updated. There's also some events that I want to tell you guys about that are right here. So now that the world is starting to open up, obviously the 29th in Massachusetts, the mask requirements, the social distancing requirements, all of that goes away. And so you're going to be able to go into a bar, a restaurant at full capacity, no mask, no social distancing requirements. And so now that that is happening, we're actually going to be able to leave the house and I'm going to be able to come and hang out with you guys. So the first place that you can come and hang out with me is going to be on Saturday, June 5th at Sheldon's Harley Davidson. That is in Auburn. I am going to be there from 3 to 5 in the afternoon. Details on that are up on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Coming up in July 10th, 100 FM The Pike has decided to throw a DJ welcome party, not only for me, but for Mike Shue, who joined the air staff of The Pike earlier than I did, but hasn't really been able to do very much because of the lockdown. So they have decided to have a party for us, and it's going to be at Rascals in Worcester, and it's going to be on July 10th. And again, all of the information with the links to get tickets and everything are up on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Super excited about being able to actually get out and be around people and hang out with people. I know, Donna, 4 weeks in a row. Go Netherlands. These guys are awesome. Let's lick everything weird, says Mark. Exactly. All the weird stuff. All the licking, all the weird stuff. Kathy says, Sheldon's awesome. Yeah, I want you guys to come and hang out with me. Come say hi. Wear all your stuff. I'm going to be there. It'll be awesome. Super excited. So that's happening. And then the big welcome party, which I can't wait for, is on July 10th. So super excited about all of that. Okay. Here's the mail call. Unfortunately, I did not have a chance to go and get the mail today, so I apologize. So if you guys sent me anything, I wasn't able to get it. I got in really, really, really late last night. I did want to show you guys one thing, though, that I got. It's a new addition to the War Room, and they came off of an aircraft carrier. And these things aren't messing around. They almost look, if there were 4 of them, they almost look like, hold on, let me see if I can do it. Like the night vision goggles that the SF guys wear. Like they kind of look like that, kind of. Like Zero Dark 30, like it's kind of like that shit. But these came off an aircraft carrier and they're pretty awesome. I don't know exactly what they are. I think they're 30 millimeter rounds, maybe. I don't know. You guys know in the comments. I'm sure somebody knows. If Zano's still in the War Room. Zano, tell everybody what these are, please. You know what they are, Navy veteran yourself. Sorry I'm late, Eric. Don't worry about it. Any suggestions on what I should lick when I am fully vaxxed, says Trina. Whatever you want. Just make sure it's alive and consenting, please. Let's see. Thank you. We are trying to get the rifle he had when he was in the war. Okay, Michelle is seeking some rifle advice, which would be great. I might stop by. It's right near my house. Don, I'd love to see you. Let's see. We're docking you pay, says Brianna. 50 calibers or more, says Mark. 20 millimeter whizzers, Zeno says, and he knows because he was on an aircraft carrier, so he knows what's up. These are pretty cool. And they're now part of the war room forever. Fold them in half. Yeah, these aren't 50 cals. I got 50 cals. They're not quite as big. And then I showed you guys the dummy round from the A10 Warthog, which is way bigger than this. So fold them in half. Let's see. So awesome, Trina. I totally agree. And they're heavy. And like the actual, like, the metal mechanisms that hold them all together, like, is substantial. Like, if you were going to do the Rambo thing, like, it would weigh you down pretty good. Let's see. 20 millimeters, says Travis. Yep, that's what they are, the Whizzas. So it's pretty cool. So I'm super excited that I got something new in the war room. All right. A reminder about mistresscarrie.com and all of the gear that's in there. The baby onesies. They are going to end up being a collectible because we're going to run out of lockdown babies. There's a lot of people having kids right now that got made in lockdown. You got to get the made in lockdown baby onesies. There's an online store right at mistresscarrie.com. Shop away. Everything is in stock right now. And the baby onesies, they're black, of course, because you want to have a heavy metal baby. But there's a couple different sayings to choose from, and they're really cute. So go to mistresscarrie.com and check out the store. Okay, if you're celebrating your birthday today, you are celebrating it with Klaus Meine from the Scorpions. So cheers to you. Cheers to Klaus. You're also celebrating your birthday with Paul Weller and Lauryn Hill from the Fugees. So happy birthday to everybody that's having a birthday today. We need dog clothes. I know, Trina. I know. You think Wednesday doesn't want dog clothes? Trust me, I'm working on it. I'm working on a few other things. I'm trying to get tank tops made for the summer. I'm trying to get some devil horn logo stuff made that's on the website. Good night, Jeff. It was good to see you too. Thanks for hanging out with us. Rock you like a hurricane, says Eric. Yes, Wednesday wants to have her own section of the store. Trust me, I'm working on it for sure. Once again, a reminder for the Mistress Carrie backstage passes. Ooh, what happened? Why is that thing all a mess like that? I've been asking people with the backstage passes some interview questions when I get enough notice that I'm going to have access to people. So they've been submitting questions for the podcast interviews. You also get an exclusive live stream every month. So everybody with the backstage pass, we're going to do the live stream on Sunday night, June 6th at 7:30 p.m. You also get discounted merch codes to shop in the online store. You get exclusive blogs and photos and basically just keep in way closer touch with me. And you also can message me through the Backstage Pass on Patreon as well. So if you don't have one yet, you can get one. Just go to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie or just click the Backstage Pass Patreon button at mistresscarrie.com. So there you go. Ooh, computer's making noises over here. A reminder on all of the places that you can find me on social. Obviously, Facebook, you found me here, but Instagram as well, Mistress Carrie WAF, and then on Twitter, TikTok, Cameo, YouTube, and on Patreon, it's all at Mistress Carrie. I do want to put a plug in for our friends at the boat, where we had the 100th episode party for Cocktails in the War Room. Whoa, I almost pulled the whole thing apart. They are now carrying Fernandez's sangria at the bar, which is freaking awesome. So if you want to go and drink Fernandez's sangria, you can do it at the bar at the boat. Just go up to the bar, tell them you want Fernandez's sangria. They have it. Fernandez messaged me. He's making batches for them. It's awesome. I could not be more excited about it because you guys have seen me drink the sangria in here so many times. And now I hope this is only the start of where you're going to be able to get Fernandez's sangria because it's freaking delicious and it's awesome. So you can go to the boat and drink Fernandez's sangria. Perfect for the holiday weekend. Perfect for this amazing weather. Okay, so I also want to talk about, because Richard Fitz is in here in the war room, and so is Travis from Oscar Mike Radio. So for anybody that doesn't know about the war room and about Richard Fitz, he's a Gold Star son who made a documentary about his dad, who was killed in action in Vietnam, but because he was on a classified mission in places that he should not have been, that we didn't have people. The family never really found out what had happened, and he grew up not really knowing his dad. He made this amazing documentary about the search for answers and the search to get to know his dad. And they are going to do a screening this weekend. So I'm going to ask Travis here in the war room. Travis, can you put the link up where people can go and watch the screening this weekend? And it's the perfect weekend to watch this documentary. It was made by a loving Gold Star son about his dad. And it's a very solemn reminder about why it is that you have a long weekend this weekend. And it's something that we all need to be very cognizant of, that there are a lot of Gold Star families. This weekend is for them to commemorate and to acknowledge their loss for all of us. And the least we can do is say thank you and acknowledge it right back, as opposed to just having barbecues, which I know is great, especially to be able to spend time with your family. And obviously all of the veterans out there, especially if they served with someone that was killed in action, that you want to be savoring your life and celebrating your life. But we also just need to make sure that we are very aware of why it is that we have a long holiday weekend. And so being able to watch this movie that was made by a Gold Star family about what the real true meaning of that Gold Star is and what that loss is like, you can watch it this weekend. So pretty excited for the screening. I think it's awesome. All the links are going to be here. And then I'll also be tweeting out and posting the links on Facebook and on social media this weekend as well. So you'll be reminded about that too. We are using this link. Travis put the link up. So there it is. They're streaming everything. Thank you, Travis. You rock. So it's all going to be up there. Travis, if you don't mind, can you email it to me too so that I can use it for social this weekend? Oh, come on, Richard. You don't got to thank me for mentioning it. It's amazing. And it's the perfect opportunity to kind of put everybody's brains back where they need to be this weekend. So watch the movie, watch the documentary. Please enjoy the time with your family this weekend. I say that because selfishly, that's exactly what I want to do, even though I'm not going to have the entire weekend with my family, but I'm going to have some of it, which I'm really excited about. So I'm going to end the show, guys, because I want to go hang out with my husband. I'm selfish. Yeah, you. So I'm going to go finish my cocktail, go eat the rest of my dinner, and put my feet up and just enjoy the time that I have while I have it. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me each and every Tuesday night at 8:30 here in the War Room. Don't forget, episode 51 of the Mistress Carrie podcast goes live at midnight tonight, featuring Andrew Biggio, the author of the book, The Rifle. Please share this episode. I just think it's so interesting and informative. And with the holiday weekend this weekend, it's the perfect time for us to be learning all of these stories. Okay, guys. Good night. I'll see you guys next week. If you're vaccinated, lick weird things. If you're not vaccinated yet, sanitize them before you lick them. Just life lessons. All right. Good night, guys.